Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Flagler Weekly, episode 39. And today we have the lovely guests in the house. Thank you guys for coming. We have Shara Brodsky Rivera.
Hello.
And we have Miss Caroline Johnson. How are you guys doing?
Very good.
Thank you guys so much. And you guys are actually the first ones in our new iteration of the studio. You know, we just had the last one at 14th Street.
Yep.
Now we're at a new undisclosed location.
So cute.
But I appreciate you guys for coming through. How are you guys doing today?
Awesome.
That's
Good.
awesome.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
We appreciate you guys. So we're gonna get into it in a little bit, but I just wanted to express to people how much Dave and I love animals, and I feel like that's how we first saw you guys through the S.M.A.R.T program. And what you feel?
Well, actually, I was kind of familiar with her before because I had a dog that kept running away before,
Okay.
Buddy. I don't know if you remember it, like a year or so ago, I lived in the C-section and I had a blue-nosed pit.
Buddy, yes.
Buddy, that was me. And he was a runner. So, yeah.
But
That's
the
how-
whole community knew him and
Yeah,
always
everybody knew
came
him.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, I had to not have him anymore
Aw.
because of moving and whatnot. So, yeah, that was sad.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So you guys are in the Palm Coast area, I believe you said. How long have you been in Flagler County area?
Me, I have been in Palm Coast since 95, as they say back in the 1900s.
The late
Hilarious.
1900s.
So, yes, I've been here since 95, and I have never left and come back, as
Okay.
most Palm Coasters do.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it's common.
I went to college from like 18 to 23. I guess I did leave and come back a little bit.
See, it happens.
How long have you been in the area?
Roughly 15 years.
Okay.
About that.
A little while.
Yeah, I was just telling Dave the other day how I want to put out a chart, and it's like 0 to 10 years. It's like, relax. We don't want to hear about your Facebook group comments and stuff like that. 10 to 20 years, okay. You know what I mean? You're a part of the community, but you're new. You're new in the
Still
community.
fresh.
Yeah, 20 years on up. Okay, now let's talk about some stuff, But
Yeah.
you guys are definitely have been in the community for a long time. How do you like Flagler County?
So I'm running for city council. If that
Okay.
says how I
Yeah.
love Flagler County,
Yeah,
I want to do something to make some changes.
I mean, we love it. We just want to see better for the area.
Correct.
What do you think was maybe the moment, your aha moment, where you're like, you know what, I got to do it. Enough is enough. I have to take the reins.
So I went on vacation August of last year to Greenland, which
Ooh.
was probably one of the most amazing trips I've ever taken. And I realized there's a whole world out there. And being here almost 30 years made me realize that I'm done. So when I came back from vacation, I told my husband that we're going to sell the house and get out of here. And then I took the Citizens Academy course. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's a 7-week program through the Palm Coast City.
I've heard about it. I believe, yes, I did hear about
It's a pretty amazing. It is free to any citizen that wants to take it, and it walks you through how Palm Coast is ran through Public Works, the council, the water department. It's pretty amazing. And during that process, I actually went upstairs in the courthouse and filed to run for city council.
Wow.
So it just kind of happened. So I went from selling my house and leaving Palm Coast after almost 30 years to running for city council.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Were you going to go to Greenland?
Canada, possibly.
Okay. So do you think it was more of the people growing in the community? Because I've heard a lot of it, just the infrastructure of Palm Coast, or was it more of, what do you think was the main pain point that brought you to that?
That realization. It was seeing there's a whole world out there. And
Gotcha.
I've felt trapped. I felt trapped in Palm Coast for a long time because there is no opportunity for the younger generation. And
Yeah.
whether or not it is a retirement community, that has completely changed. But the growth is more residential than it is both commercial and we need that for our younger community.
I agree.
Yeah, for sure.
That's kind of the reason why I live in Orlando and work, and I have a business in Orlando, but I love the community in Flagler County, and I try my best to, promote local businesses and, help people in the economy and stuff like that. But just living here, it's like I would still have to drive to Daytona or St. Augustine or something. I have my CDL truck driver's license. So, I definitely understand where you're coming from.
And I think at this point in my life, at this age, that I feel like, maybe when you were younger, you really didn't care about your area where you live in. And now I'm realizing that it's affecting a lot of people my age and their children. And something has to be done.
Definitely, like, yeah, after you like get out of your 20s and 30s and stuff like that, and you need more money, like it's just not here. Like, luckily for me, I work online in Tampa, so but there's not everybody that lives here can have an out-of-town job and still live here, but what else is my other options, like
Right.
Walmart or I don't know, I don't even know.
No, Walmart's
It's
not,
not
even
much,
an
yeah,
option. No.
like, and as a grown man, that's not enough money. I have a son and a daughter. It's like, need more than that.
And you want the future to grow for them as well,
Yeah.
especially in a community that is beautiful and wonderful here. It just needs a little TLC and a little bit of more community involvement.
I think a lot of people feel like that everybody who runs Palm Coast only cares about like more development. I feel like that's the real sentiment of what people think. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
and
that's what the word is.
it's
on
like
the
new
street.
people, new people, new people. Forget about the old people.
Right.
Forget about everybody who's been here.
Yes.
So,
So I'm going to try to be a voice for
yeah. So
our older residents, and not old in age, just
Yeah,
old
just
in time.
older time. Yeah.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
So, Miss Johnson, how long have you been in the community? And well, you already said 15 years, but I was going to say, how do you like Flagler County?
I do love it. I came down from New York. I did go back for a very short time. It was kind of shocking to come down. When I initially came down, the community was a lot smaller than what it is now, and it was kind of shocking coming from. I lived not in New York City, but about 45 minutes away. So
Long Island?
no, I was in Westchester County. So to come down and go from everything at your disposal and fast life to a much slower pace life was a little shocking. Everybody I knew, everything I knew was in New York. Didn't know anybody, so it was a hard adjustment, but I made it work.
That's awesome. So, how did you guys get involved into the animal rescue? And did you guys know each other before you got involved in it?
No.
You can
Where's she
rewind
been all my life?
if you want to rewind, and just tell them
Aw.
about S.M.A.R.T and how that started, and then I'll fill in as necessary.
Okay.
So shortly after coming down, I adopted. I had my son, who was maybe 9 years old, 10 years old at the time. We came down, just the two of us, and then I got custody of my nephew, he came to live with me for a few years. He was a teenager. Excuse me. So doing good in school, I asked him what they wanted, and it was a puppy. So we went and adopted a puppy, a pit bull puppy. Just kind of, dealing with him and not really being I wasn't the huge dog person. Loved dogs, but I didn't have any myself. He kind of opened me up to the breed and the love and the loyalty from the pit bulls. Seeing the groups on Facebook, the lost pets and things like that. I was disabled from a car accident, so I started kind of filling in and helping out with the lost pet page and helping out with dogs like Buddy, who escape every now and then. So I had no idea what I was doing, no idea. And just over the years, I started learning, what to do to help catch a scared dog or trap them, using one dog to catch another scared dog, and the kind of mental behind it, that they more so trust each other when they don't trust humans. So it just kind of led from one thing to another and learning over the years. I started volunteering with the local Humane Society here and doing their outreach events, the adoption events. So I started doing that as a volunteer and did that a few days a week for several years. And that kind of led me, a lot of the shelter dogs that came in very scared with me running the lost pet page, I'd take a dog that was found or we didn't know who the owner was, some dogs that we had to trap, we would take them to the Humane Society because I didn't have S.M.A.R.T at the time. We take them to the shelter. A lot of them that needed that rehab or that one-on-one time to trust humans again, I would go in as a volunteer and just sit with that dog and take them out and socialize them. Sometimes I'd spend 5, 6 hours with one dog there just because they were so scared of humans to help that trust build. Then eventually help get them adopted. So I spent years doing that until branching off on my own and starting S.M.A.R.T. There were, as the community grew, we had a lot more dogs that were being abused and dumped. We'd get a post on Facebook, you'd find this very skinny, abused dog that was in the woods somewhere, dumped on US 1 by the highway. Sometimes people would see a dog being dumped and report it.
His daughter finds a lot of them.
Yeah, my daughter, she lives like Crescent City.
Yeah.
And like she's always posting, like, I guess there's one particular spot over there wherever she lives at, and she's like, oh, what, like at least like once a week, right? She's posting
Right.
pictures of some dogs. She's like,
Yeah.
this dog's here. This is like, stop dumping your dogs. Stop dumping your dogs.
Yeah.
So, but in Flagler, there's a lot of dumping too, huh?
It has grown. I mean, we have a lot of areas that I would say don't take care of their dogs up to par and up to standard like the normal person would. There's a lot of breeding. There is dog fighting locally that people kind of turned a blind eye to. So there's a lot in our area that is not good. There's a lot of dogs living outside.
I don't understand dog fighting. Like, I've had 2 pit bulls at a time, and they fought, and that's not a cool scene.
No.
Like, at all. Like, so I mean, to do that as sport,
To imagine
is just
that
sport,
crazy.
people
Like,
would
and that's
pay to
like
see it.
fun to you.
Yeah.
Like when it happened to me, because I had, you've seen Buddy, and I had another dog when my sister took, Duke, and he was like a little skinny, like brown pit bull. Buddy was what they call like a cowboy, big head, and Duke was like the little skinny, scrappy one.
Yeah.
And they would get in fights, and they just wouldn't stop, and it was just like,
Yeah.
I think money unfortunately consumes people, and they don't see.
yeah, it's
know,
just so
what's
gross
happening.
though. Like,
It's
like
pathetic.
It's gross. Yeah, like yeah, it's not a cool scene.
No.
Yeah, to
So, wow.
think of the mindset it takes to watch and abuse a dog or an animal, period, a cat, a dog, a kid. There's a certain mindset that it takes to be that cold and callous. But we're seeing a lot of it. There's so many things out there that are happening with dogs that are just not good. I mean, we've picked up dogs. You might have seen on our page where there was a story shared on the news media about Jax. Jax was one that we picked up in Flagler Estates that was starved and beat. He was 21 pounds where he should have been 45 to 50 pounds. Could barely stand. So we're seeing a lot of stuff like that in the neighborhood, and that is somebody who was a dog living on his owner's property. It wasn't that he was lost and couldn't find food. He was abused by his owner. So a story like that is, we're seeing a lot of them, and not just in our area, but other areas. So if we can make a difference in Flagler County, at least for the animals that are here, we do every now and then help dogs outside of the county that need it. If there's not another rescue or shelter that will take the dog or respond quick enough. So we do help out every now and then with other dogs. But so yeah, that's what kind of led me into S.M.A.R.T. Seeing the amount of dogs that are being surrendered by owners that get them as a puppy and just don't want them anymore. And
Do you think that's like in Palm Coast or like other areas?
it's everywhere.
Just everywhere, like Mondex and Bonell, and just everywhere like that, more so.
Yeah. Yeah, Mondex has a huge problem with the lack of care for dogs, breeding, dogs being loose all the time. You'll being on all the groups on Facebook and doing what we do with S.M.A.R.T, there's a lot of people knowing that I run the Lost Pet page for so long. We get tagged on a lot of posts. I probably get about 100 tags a day on Facebook.
I believe that. I would always like see when everybody would get out, because I don't really go on that page now, but before I would always be on that page, and I was like, Caroline Johnson, come. And you would
Tag
always
her,
be there,
tag her.
Yeah.
You'd always be like rolling up.
Yeah, I've picked up Buddy quite a few times. He was always sweet.
So you'll go and pick up the animals like yourself. Are you worried about getting bit? Have you ever been bit?
No, I have not. Dogs are resilient. They're smart. They sense the dogs have a very good sense of nature and people.
Even
animals.
terrified
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
That's what I was more
Yeah.
like scared in the corner, like
Yeah.
reaching down there and stuff like that.
I mean, she's got some stories where she's laid for 5 hours.
Wow.
I mean, getting eaten by ants and oh yeah, just to gain trust to.
I don't
be
think
able
like
to
there's really
track them.
like, I mean, maybe like a small percentage of dogs are like mean, right? But usually they're just scared.
They're
I would
always
say
scared.
so.
I mean, even the ones that are acting out mean, it's because of fear. So, has there been dogs that growled and looked like they might bite? Yeah. I'm not going to leave them there though. I will sit down, I'll have meat, I'll have cans of Vienna sausage or chicken or whatever I need to have, whatever's going to work, and for dogs, I've learned that when they're fearful and you sit down or you squat or you get low on their level, they don't feel as threatened. So once they see you go down, sometimes just even looking away and not having that eye contact, it minimizes the fear they have at that point. And I mean, I've had dogs that I've sat down and pit bulls that people were saying are growly or very skinny or dumped somewhere, and I've gone out to get them over by the fairgrounds, which is another dumping area. Went out to pick them up, and one in particular was very fearful, very, very fearful, unneutered male pit bull. And I sat down, he was very growly, and I just took a chance with it because I can see he was just fearful. And I would throw little pieces of the Vienna sausage, and eventually he came up. I'm sitting on the ground facing away from him and tossing him back to him. And eventually I felt him here kind of sniffing and kissing, and I'm like, oh boy, please don't bite. But he turned out to be so sweet. I mean, more fearful, I think, of strangers and people he didn't know. But I think he learned at that point I wasn't going to hurt him. So I was able to secure him and get him on a leash and get him over to the Humane Society. This was a few years ago. But so now the difference is with starting S.M.A.R.T, instead of taking those dogs to the shelter, we're finding foster homes for them. So our foster base is growing. As we grow, the foster base is growing. So securing good fosters that understand what we do and what we stand for, which is more rehabbing these abused or lost souls. So to kind of have those fosters that are willing to work with them, willing to give them the time and take to really build their trust again in humans, test and see how they are with other dogs, but not push them too hard. We don't know what they've been through. We don't know if they've been, from a dog fighting case or had dogs that weren't very nice to them. With humans, we don't know. A lot of them, jump when you touch them or are fearful of men. So, has there been a man that hit them before or dumped them in the woods? So we have to just go really slow with some of them and teach them. For the most part, I think we've been pretty lucky with most of our dogs. There's been a handful over the last 2 years that we've had to send off to some intense training, like a board and train program. But for the most part, all of them have kind of bounced back with just having some love, and giving them that time to adjust.
I think some of these dogs know. I mean, like they're at a shelter for so long and somebody adopts them finally and they're just in heaven. But I really do, some of them know that it's okay and they're actually being saved.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I got a dog from a friend of mine. I got a French bulldog, and I went over there because they do breeding and stuff like that, and they checked him out. But they have other dogs over there, like his brothers, sisters, cousins, whatever it may be, and they were running around a lot. And he's usually really excited, like the really excited dog. But these dogs were really excited. But it's funny because he's been just always so energetic. But after we went over there, because I don't want to say they were bullying him, but he'd want to chill, but they were still nipping at him and stuff like that. He usually does the other dogs, but they were doing it to him. Eventually to the point where he would come underneath my feet and kind of just sit down and stuff like that. When we got back to the house, he was so much calmer. It's almost like he's like, thank you so much.
Right.
Now I see what I got here. Thank you so much. You know what I mean? Because they put some food on, the other dogs were going for the food and stuff like that. And he's like, whoa, I'm used to the food just being there. You know what I mean? So
They are smart animals.
They're very smart. He's a really cool dog. I love that dog. He's growing on me a lot. Because like you said, he's my first dog I've had. I had a dog when I was like 5 years old, but I think I was too young to like really,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
So my mom kind of got rid of it because it was like dragging me down the block and stuff like that. But now this is my first dog in like my adult life, but I like it. You know what I mean? Definitely a companion.
Yes.
There's loyalty that
Yeah.
you don't just find.
I'll say this too, like, um, I'm single, so I was kind of like, you know, living on my own in Orlando, kind of almost like going out more than I needed to, you know, to kind of like fill that empty void. But now I'm like, I don't really need it. I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, so it's
You're content.
yeah, it's a different situation.
It's
But
a companionship. If you want to take a walk, take a ride, you know, go to a dog park, there's so many things you can do. I mean, there are certain stores you can take them out. Socializing is very important. So taking them out to, you know, if you got to go to Home Depot and pick something up or a store, you can take them with you. So there's that companionship there that is significant when you're by yourself. And we're in an area that has a lot of seniors and a lot of people that don't have family around. So having those companions is very important for them, you know. So another aspect of S.M.A.R.T and what we do is we don't take in just the abused and lost dogs. We have taken in quite a few that are from family members that have passed away, seniors in the area, that have had dogs or they're going through some dementia, not able to take care of them anymore. So we have quite a few dogs that are senior dogs that are in foster right now, whose family member passed away or went into a nursing home. And the family had maybe a bigger dog that didn't do well with other dogs. So we try to be a resource for the cases like that too, because a lot of families don't want their dogs to end up in a shelter environment and are nervous about that. We're not an organization that believe, you know, euthanasia is very rare to me of being something that you need to look at.
Right.
If a dog is suffering medically, by all means, you don't want them to suffer. But I would never put down a dog just because they're senior and they have some medical needs or they can't see and they're blind at 16. We'll find somewhere that they can live out their life.
That's awesome.
And we've had some pretty amazing fosters that take care of our little old dogs. We have two actually right now in foster one is blind, can barely get around. Our vet care for them is pretty high, but we'll do what we have to do to take care of them.
Awesome.
That's a last resort euthanasia.
Yeah.
Totally last.
Yeah.
I definitely understand. So you guys met through the S.M.A.R.T program?
Yes.
Yes and no. Actually, through our vet, which is
Okay.
East Coast Animal Hospital.
Shout out East Coast.
Shout out to East Coast and the Tajmir family.
Awesome.
I've known them personally before they even opened up their practice.
Oh, wow.
And I was going through something with mine, who I lost a year ago.
Sorry to hear that.
Yes, it's terrible. So I actually met Caroline through the vet and my situation I was going through with mine personally. And I didn't know how involved East Coast Animal Hospital was with Caroline. And then I found out. And what I found out was they back her 100% and will support everything that she does.
Awesome.
And that says a lot about the Tajmirs. And that just confirmed with me that I need to help this girl
Awesome.
and whatever I can do to help.
Awesome. How long ago was that, you think?
So I want to say it was November of 22 is when I officially actually met her.
Okay.
And I want to rewind a little bit because I manage Chez Jacqueline, which is a woman's boutique that has been in Palm Coast for 20 and a half years.
Wow.
Dell, a woman, one of our customers came in and said, I just saw this woman who runs this nonprofit at East Coast and I just put $300 on her account
Awesome.
and I want to have a fashion show for her.
Wow.
And we do nonprofit fashion show fundraising. We've actually raised,
In fact, aren't you having one
we have
soon?
3 a month.
Oh, 3 a month.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Besides working full time there. But she said, I want to have a fashion show for S.M.A.R.T. And I mean, this all happened within like 3 seconds. And we put it on the calendar just because we know who Dell was. And we said, if we're going to support her, and I haven't even met her yet. So I said, oh, who's this girl running a nonprofit in Palm Coast? And then once I knew, it just clicked.
So that Chez Jacqueline.
It's Shay.
Shay.
Yes, it's French for Shay, even though it is pronounced Shay, but it's
You
Chez.
uncultured.
They get a filet.
Yes, yes.
A filet mignon.
Yes, yeah.
Good
yeah.
try with the name.
The armoire.
Fine.
Yes,
He did
yes.
his homework.
But where's that at?
So it's behind Cantina Louie on
Okay.
Old Kings Road in Palm Coast, in the Twisters Ice Cream Plaza. I think everybody knows where Twisters is, and also the Portuguese wine bar
Portuguese wine
and the
bar.
barbecue right in between that.
Okay.
So I officially joined Caroline. I want to say it was the first Brass Tap Bar Yappy Hour event, which was April
Maybe
of last year. And that's when I officially said, I'm jumping on board. I don't know what you need, but I'm just going to be whatever you need. And then her and I just completely clicked. Our husbands clicked, which is very, very rare. So we are actually very
awesome.
important. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's just rare, very rare. So
Very.
the four of us are not only partners, but we're friends.
That's awesome.
It is.
Yappy hour.
Yappy hour.
Is that? Because I saw you having something that Loopers also.
Yes,
What in a
coming
couple
up on the
days?
31st.
Wednesday.
This Wednesday. Is that
2
the
days.
Yappy hour?
It's a yappy. 'Cause they just kind of yap away.
Oh, I didn't know if that had something to do with dogs or.
Yeah, because they're yappy.
Okay, gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
It's instead of happy, it's yappy.
Definitely awesome.
Yes.
How many people usually come out to that?
Anywhere from 50 to 75.
Nice.
People?
Yes.
Whoa!
Besides their regular clientele that are just going to eat.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yes.
that is amazing.
And we'll charge $15 at the door. You will get a free glass of wine or beer
Awesome,
and also an appetizer
awesome.
on Loopers.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
And there's
No.
live
Shout out
music.
Lucas.
Live music with Ben.
Yes.
And we'll have lots of raffle items and just some fun and fundraising.
I love that. So, the SMART, and it stands for Animal Rescue Team.
Close.
That's the ART.
Saving.
Saving Missing
Missing
Animals
Response
Team. That's awesome.
Yes.
You know, who came up with the SMART? Oh, that was very smart of you.
Yes, it was.
I was like, wow, that works perfectly.
Perfect.
And the dogs are very smart, so
Yes.
it's just all fitting. You know,
Is it-
dogs are resilient and very smart and know how to adapt. So
Is it only dogs?
we have helped with cats, but we have our local cat rescue is Community Cats of Palm Coast. So Jessica and I are friends and we work together. So we try to stick with the dogs. There's a huge need for both.
Right.
So with Jessica doing the cats, we try to source most of our cats through. If somebody contacts me, I'll usually call Jessica
Okay.
to get her to take in the cats. If she's overwhelmed and she can't get to it, then we would take it on. So I think we've done a few cats.
Cats are like more secretive, right? Like when they're in town, dogs are just like
Yes.
Dogs
bobbing
are
down. They're just
harder.
cruising around.
Yeah.
And there has been other animals. Annie has done her fair share of catching all animals for sure.
I can only imagine.
So, what if somebody wants to get involved in fostering? What do they just contact you and SMART and just do an application or?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
We're always looking for fosters. A lot of times, excuse me, when we take in dogs, I'll get a message and it's somewhat urgent. So I am driving. I don't really have time to look through a list of possible fosters and definitely can't remember who all has what animals at home and what their criteria is. A lot of people don't want large dogs. Some people don't want certain breeds or whatever the case is. Very hard for me to keep up with those. So I'll post often on Facebook and put that I'm looking for a foster. Somebody contact me about this dog in the woods on the way to go get him. I need to know if anybody can foster. At that point, we know nothing about the dog. Last week we took in a mother dog that was caught as a stray. A day later, she went into labor, had 7 babies.
Whoa.
So naturally, I posted looking for, somebody to take in mom and baby.
I signed up for one.
To take in mom and babies, and if you do have dogs at home, we'll just need an isolated space to keep them away, because we all know most times a mother dog is protective of her babies. So we found an amazing foster for them that is able to commit to having them for at least 8 weeks, while the puppies get big enough, before they can be adopted.
How long is a typical foster?
How long is?
Is there, or is there a typical?
Like
Is it?
average hold time at the foster.
It really all depends on
Each situation.
Yeah.
yeah,
dog.
So
the
it's like
dog
no-
and what their needs are and what kind of abuse. We have a dog right now, Slate, that you might have also saw the article on. Slate is a pit bull that was dumped up on US 1 right by 95, going towards St. Augustine. And he's been in foster for over 8 months now. Very fearful of men, to where he was reactive. His foster mom has been so amazing with him. It took her 4 months of working with him to finally get him to where he's not reactive anymore. She can finally take him around socially and out with her. She had company for the holidays, a lot of men that he didn't know. And she sent pictures of this dog just cuddled with everyone. So it's
That's amazing.
to go from that abuse to rehab. But again, he's a pit bull. They have a bad rap. He was fearful before. He is pretty young. He has the size on him. We're in an area where there's a lot of older people, people with young kids, so everybody's not looking to adopt a pit bull. So his foster mom loves him, his foster family, and they will hold him until we find him the right home.
Yeah, I don't know why they have such a bad rap. I mean, they're so nice. Like every time you meet a pit bull, they're like just so friendly.
My Chihuahua bite you before.
Yeah, I mean, if pit bulls were like Chihuahuas, I mean, then I would see a problem.
Yeah, right,
But
right.
yeah, that's why they're
Barking at
so
everything.
small.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can
But
imagine, like,
fostering is a special gift, honestly, because it does take a lot of time and effort, a lot. I mean, it's just as taking care of a puppy.
Yeah.
To be able to put that time and effort in to decompress them from the situation that they've been in. And it's difficult, especially if they have other dogs. So finding the right fosters for the right dogs is a challenge.
do a lot of fosters end up just keeping the dogs? Or?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then that's a problem with fostering again because they can't take any more in.
Yes.
Yes.
And where we're grateful for that, we also lose a foster most times because they're taking on another dog and we
Yeah.
already have several. But we're happy that dog is not being bounced around. It's
Yeah.
better for them to stay where they've actually learned to trust again and they're doing well. But like I said, most of the fosters, we are very picky with who we let adopt. With me running the Lost Pet page, I do get a lot of people that have a lost dog all the time or have had an emergency with a dog, and things do happen, so I try not to judge. But if you're messaging me about a dog and your dog is on the Lost Pet page loose every week, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to ever get a dog from me. And it's just honestly
Responsibility.
because if your dog that you have now, if you're not responsible enough to figure out fixing the situation, be irresponsible on our part to put another dog in your
Absolutely.
care. So we're very picky with it. I try to look at social media pages. You can learn a lot about people through social media and their friends and who's on their lists. So I try to do the due diligence of making sure that the dogs are going to go to a safe place and that people know the commitment. I also think it's good for organizations to work together because let's say the Humane Society had a dog that was surrendered there because of a divorce or because of a bad situation, health reasons, whatever, and they felt like the person was just being irresponsible. I think letting another organization in the area know that and that communication, that we put this person on a do not adopt list for these reasons, that would protect us and our dogs from then, because I can come up and pose as a great family loving pets, not tell you the truth, that I surrendered dogs because they had a vet issue that I didn't want to spend $1,000 for, and then come over to a nonprofit and adopt a dog if I see you at an adoption event and pose as a nice family. I could look on social media, I can look everywhere and not see anything. But if I'm aware from another organization that they're on a do not adopt list for this reason, it would help protect another dog, honestly.
That makes sense.
So yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's dogs that we've thought would be in foster for a long time because of behavior have actually been adopted. So, and adopted pretty quick. So we can never say with a foster, when we're going in, I can't promise anyone, whether it's going to be a week or a month, because you look at Slade, he's been in foster for 8 months.
Oh, poor Slate.
Which kind of leads us to our future goal is to obtain a facility or some property to build a facility so that when Caroline picks up these dogs, they have somewhere to go and she's not
Initially.
desperate,
Right.
to bring them somewhere and then get them vetted and they have somewhere safe to go.
Yeah, that's got to be rough, like right away, and you got to act very fast. And like I know that you're, like you said, you get tagged 100 times a day, which I definitely believe. So yeah, it's the crunch time.
Yeah.
Do you end up keeping them at your house a lot of times, or?
So I do have many dogs at home myself that are problem children. Most of them are. Our newest one, Boss, was an 8-week-old puppy that was thrown against a wall as
Whoa.
a baby. So he has major anxiety. So he's, if I adopted him out, he'd end up right back with us or at a shelter, unfortunately. So I decided to keep him as well. So I try not to bring in many because having 5 dogs is a lot. I have 2 seniors. I have that problem child. I have a yappy chihuahua. So bringing them in kind of sets off everyone. But there's emergency cases where we've had dogs hit by a car, and I've taken them home just during that rehab time. The starved dog I told you about, Jax, I took him home for a month. He was a sad enough case that I wanted to make sure he got kind of over the hump first and was healthy enough to go elsewhere for a foster. But we did find him an adopter before needing another foster. So I try not to take him home because it sets off,
The whole
it's
house.
a nightmare there. 5 dogs is a lot for me to handle. So
That's
to
a lot,
bring
yeah.
in another one, it's a lot.
Inexpensive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I lived in St. Pete, like
I-
I had 4, a big Rottweiler, Buddy, Duke, and this little like weird mutt named Sid. And yeah, it was a lot. Yeah, constant.
Buddy.
Yeah, Buddy.
So
That's another thing too. Is like, I've had Buddy for a long time. Had. But then I got custody of my kids, and my landlord is like, "You can't have a dog,"
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, "What am I gonna do? I can't like kick my kid out." So it's just like, it was a horrible situation.
Yeah.
It's the thing of like, when a lot of people, if you rent, you can't have a dog, especially a dog like Buddy. Even though Buddy was like
The breed
would
or
never
the
do
older
anything.
The breed, absolutely.
And he was old too, so it was just
No.
a bad time.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure with his personality, he went to a.
Yeah, I mean,
healthy place.
I brought him over to the Humane Society, and then like I was checking their page, and he was fostered. So shortly after that,
How old was he when you surrendered? Do you remember?
he was
roughly?
like at least like 10.
Oh.
Yeah, he was old. Because I had him for years.
Remind me when we're done with this. I think I know who has him.
Oh,
Just remind me after. Yeah.
Happy ending.
Yes,
Yeah.
who is actually a very big animal rescuer herself and helps a lot with community cats. So,
Buddy.
but we'll follow up with that later.
Yeah.
awesome. So Miss Shara,
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you about the running for the city council.
Okay.
Dave kind of threw me off with that one. But let me look real quick what I was looking at.
Well, while you
Yeah, go on.
while you're doing that, when
just
I
remembered
was
what it was.
researching you up, I saw that you're also involved with the
Professional woman.
professional
stuff.
woman.
That's
Yes.
that's what I was gonna,
Professional women of Flagler County. Yes,
That's
we,
exactly what
we
it was.
joined actually as S.M.A.R.T.
I was gonna ask if you could like kind of break down what that is exactly.
So, Professional Women of Flagler County is the acronym PWFC, and they have been, I think, since 2020 started this organization. So it is a Flagler County, and it is an organization that helps women in business thrive. So they support each other. They raise Go Girl grants, and they raised, was it 15,000? I think it was $15,000 last year by their silent auctions and their events, and they have raffle baskets, and they meet twice a month. So all that money gets distributed, and then they decided on how to distribute that money. So they did thankfully bless S.M.A.R.T with $1,000.
Nice.
Yes. So out of that 15,000, we got one of them.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I saw that you were doing like some kind of cancer. You got money for cancer, because I noticed it, and it stood out to me because you actually have a photo with my sister-in-law, Tori.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we can. So that's with Chez Jacqueline.
Okay.
So we did last year a fundraiser for our local breast cancer through
Okay.
Advent Health, which the money actually goes to help women and some men that are locally here that do not have medical insurance. So that money goes for them to get mammograms and sometimes mastectomies. And we did host, plan, and run an entire fundraiser at Hammock Dunes for the Advent Health breast cancer, and we raised $25,000.
Yeah, I see, it was a big number, yeah,
Yes, and we
$25,000,
did
yeah.
bring in Arthur Murray Studios to do a number as an intermission, besides doing the fashion show with a ladies' luncheon and, of course, some speakers on the topic.
Well, you guys are raising a lot of money.
Yeah, we probably raised now, since we've been doing fundraisers, at least over $250,000 doing fashion show fundraisers for
That's beautiful.
only local nonprofits.
That's awesome.
That we could actually see where the money goes to our community.
Yeah,
You could see the difference.
And that's all in Flagler too.
Yes. I mean, we do some in St. Augustine. There's like a Limelight Theater and a couple of the communities that they are just a bunch of ladies that want to have fundraisers, and they distribute the money to local nonprofits.
Nice.
It's huge.
That's an amazing thing.
It is huge. We host them
amazing thing.
on site at the shop, and then we also clearly do them off site that can do 175 women.
Wow.
You know, I'm gonna say I don't know of any other like people in Palm Coast government right offhand that are really like getting money for the people.
No.
you
And I
know.
feel like where that maybe is my attributes is I do love helping the community and fundraising and doing something for our people.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, evident you're doing that now, not being in council or government. So I mean,
It's only going to
that's a
continue
pretty.
to grow.
That's
Oh,
a pretty,
absolutely.
That's a pretty good flag.
I think so.
So why maybe people
Yes,
should vote
with
for
nothing
you.
in return.
you know?
I mean, we are booked for the entire year this year. We've had nonprofits booking from last year. So we have 3 a month until the end of November.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
People's champ.
Well, she's not just for the people; she's for the animals
definitely-
as well.
Animals
Let's not forget
first. No,
that.
actually, I should say people first. But my heart is genuine, and I just try to do the best that I can and help whoever I can without too much on me and sucking the life out of me.
With S.M.A.R.T, what do you think are some of the biggest challenges or obstacles with like running a nonprofit organization?
And fundraising too, right?
Definitely fundraising. I mean, as Caroline, we can list the numbers of the vet bills alone. You know, like she says, any one dog can go from 1,000 to 6,000.
Wow.
So fundraising, you know, if we have a yappy hour and we bring in $2,000, that's fantastic. But we need to continuously having funds in the account for when situations come up.
Right.
Like Izzy/Tallulah last year was hit by a car. How old was she when you got her?
Maybe 9 months.
9 months. And they did want to euthanize her because I don't know how many breaks she had in her hips and her pelvis, and to do surgery was $6,000. And now her name is Tallulah. She wears a crown and she has her own Facebook page.
Oh,
And she's
Probably has more followers
doing
than me.
amazing.
She's doing amazing. She got the most amazing mommy now, and she will be at Loopers so everybody can see the before and after.
awesome. That's amazing.
It's important to see for donors and for local businesses that sponsor what we do and believe in what we do. I think it's important to see the befores and afters, and to see a dog that most times a nonprofit doesn't have or can't come up with $6,000 for one dog. You know, so when you look at this little tiny dog that's 15 pounds. And those eyes, those sad eyes of being in pain and suffering. I think she had 12 to 15 breaks in her pelvis area. So this little girl, I mean, I was sent a picture of her down in the Orman ER at the vet there, and just looking at her eyes, and I think she won the hearts of so many people that we had the $6,000 in 24 hours.
Wow.
So that just shows the love that Flagler County has for the animals.
It's funny. There was a comedian that said, I forgot who it was, but it was like, you know, if it's a person, some people are like, you know, you might be like, is he a nice guy? I don't know if I got, but like a dog.
Yes. Yeah. And then
No
you look
question.
at those eyes, and,
Yeah.
and people see her cuddled on my chest in the vet's office.
They're like kids. They're
Yeah.
innocent.
Yeah,
They don't
they're
know.
innocent. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that someone from the vet from the emergency vet in Jacksonville almost adopted her.
They wanted
Wow.
to adopt her.
Yeah. Before she even
Yeah.
went into surgery.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I was just saying with a person, let's say, and God forbid, I'm not trying to attack anybody, but let's say it was like a motorcycle, you know what I mean? But a dog, it's like they didn't get on a motorcycle. You know what I mean?
Right.
They didn't make
There
that
wasn't a
decision.
choice of theirs.
Yeah, you know, and stuff like that. So I think that's why people feel for them a lot.
Well, Caroline, it's a voice for the voiceless
Mm-hmm.
is the whole slogan of S.M.A.R.T.
True.
That's what we got to be because no one, they can't have their own voice.
True.
Can't pay their own bills.
Yeah.
Right. I wish they could.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll work on that in the future.
How do you guys feel about breeders? I heard you speak about the dog wasn't neutered. It was a male dog and he wasn't neutered. So I have a French bulldog, and we could be honest. You can let me know your honest opinion. I'm perfectly fine with that. But I planned on letting him have some babies, like maybe like making some money off of it. How do you guys, like a friend of mine, she loves dogs. She's like, you should neuter your dog. I was like, I kind of feel like dogs want to have babies. Like
It's
everybody
natural, right? Like humans.
I was
Right.
like, my boy, I see him, he kind of be humping his dog. I know what you're doing. We can't
Poor
talk,
thing.
but I know what you're thinking. But it's a boy. But so I have heard a lot of people say they want to get dogs neutered because they give them away or don't handle them correctly. I want to know what you guys, as like people that save animals from getting, how you felt about that process.
So I'm totally an advocate for a spay and neuter. We see too many, and volunteering for the shelter for so many years, there's an overflow of people get puppies. They use them sometimes for breeding, and then they dump them in a shelter. There's not a shortage of dogs out there. If you want to get a dog for a companion for your kids, you can go to a nonprofit. You can go to a rescue, a shelter, anywhere, and adopt a dog. The breeding has gotten so out of hand with so many backyard breeders. There's breeders that do it responsibly and will do a litter or two, and then they go get the dog spay and neutered, and they still take care of their dog and they're part of their family. There's just an overflow and a shortage of nonprofits, rescues, and shelters that can take in the unwanted dogs. So that's where the spay and neuter and the breeding become a problem. The unspay and unneutered males and females running around loose, like say in the Mondex. You get these dogs like the one we just took in last week with the 7 babies. If she was out there in the woods for another week, her babies would have been born in the woods. So now you have not just the mom out there, you have
During the cold season.
right. But then you would have had 7 dogs in the woods that could have been attacked by wildlife or just born as stray dogs. And somebody at some point is going to, if nobody saw the babies, would have to get these dogs later and hopefully catch them because they'd be not really socialized with humans. So there's a lot of issues with the spay and neuter. And go into the health part of it, when you have a female dog that's not spay and neutered and has never had a litter of babies, they're facing getting infections that can take their life, like pyometra. If you look up pyometra, a dog will die of that within 72 hours if not taken to a vet for emergency surgery.
Let me ask this. So you're saying the females who do get spayed and neutered could possibly get the infection?
No, do
No,
not.
that do not.
Oh, that do not.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And I heard that they might be prone to cancer as well.
Yes.
If they don't get spayed and neutered?
Correct.
And the males as well. And the males as well. So I think there's just a lot of, and even with the males, to spay and neuter that, to get them neutered takes away a lot of that high energy and dominating behavior that people complain about all the time.
I definitely understand. It's kind of like, and I don't know if Dave can speak to this or not. And like, I don't mean this in like a inappropriate way or anything, but like, I feel like I can honestly feel like you neuter a dog. Like when they look at you after that, it's like, bro, really?
Oh,
It's like,
No.
I couldn't do it to myself. To like, you know what I mean?
well,
So-
men do it.
No, they do.
Just saying.
They do. You know, feel like they have to get. I don't have any kids yet. You know what I mean? So
I promise you, your dog is not going to look at you any different. I can let you borrow mine
Or
for
your
a few
future
days
wife.
to see. No, honestly, the dogs don't look at you any different. After a day of getting through the anesthesias, that they bounce back to themselves. I mean, we see it every day.
So, like, and I'm not saying that it is. This is just a question that I have. Honest question. Like, I don't understand. How is that, like, not considered, like, animal cruelty or something like that? You know, like, I don't know. Because I feel like it's like, I understand they totally didn't get here naturally. But I don't know. I just feel like it's natural. And now it's kind of like,
Well, it could be male abuse also if you get a vasectomy.
But really, I mean, the cruelty more so would be like having the later results of the,
Absolutely.
like the puppies she was talking about, they could have been born in the woods and this and that.
I get that. But say, like, my dog. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's like,
I'm going to explain a few things just from my point of view. So,
Okay.
so just in the animal world of cats and dogs, right?
Okay.
Cat lovers, they don't care what kind of cat it is. They don't care what color it is. They just love cats. Dog lovers are breed friendly. It's only your breed, whether they're mixed, if there's puppies, they would say, oh, what kind are they? I get that because we are breed oriented. So Community Cats does have a program which they raise funds for. It's called the TNR, which is Trap, Neuter, and Release. For our feral cats that are out there, they're like rabbits. They just keep reproducing. And of course, that comes with diseases and a lot of other things and overproduction. So the program of Trap, Neuter, and Release helps the community. But in the dog world, people are breed oriented. They want a poodle. They want a shepherd. They want this breed. So that's the thing I believe with not spaying and neutering. And not to say I'm against it or for it, but I get the mentality. Like, I'm a Rottweiler fan. I would love to have Rottweilers, but any kind of dog will do for me. Whether they're mixed. And I think that's the thing. You know, the Frenchies, they became such a huge deal that they sell for like $3,000 to $5,000 each. You have 5 of them. You can pay your house off. And the overbreeding, I think, is the problem, and not doing it, like Caroline said, responsibly. And again, having a puppy is a lot of responsibility.
It is.
I mean, it's like a toddler. You need 24-hour care. You need a lot of finances. You have to put your whole life on hold. So by doing that, you then adopt them out, and they're like, oh, you know, this isn't for me, or it's too much responsibility, and they wind up giving them to the shelter. So there is a lot of controversy in between it, but dog lovers are breed lovers for the most part.
okay.
If that makes it any clearer for you to understand.
Yeah. So, like, you know, if you have other dogs running around, it's not like they're going to exactly get adopted as much because people are looking for specific dogs.
They are. I mean, you go look for magnets of your
Yeah.
dog. You don't just pick up a magnet of any dog,
Right,
shepherd,
that's true.
whatever it is.
That's true.
So that's, I think, the difference of the cat and the dog world of breeding.
I mean, if I go post right now a poodle that we take in or a Shih Tzu per se, the response that you get for that dog is incredible. If I go
Overwhelming.
post a dog like Slate, the pit bull,
Very little.
you know, we've been posting them for 8 months and we haven't found a potential adopter yet. But if I post a poodle or a Shih Tzu or a Chihuahua, I can get 100 messages within 10 minutes. You know, so you know, you just unfortunately there's breeds that get the bad rap. Breeds like you said with Buddy, you know, you cannot bring into a rental or an apartment, and because of the insurance and the you know, landlords or real estate companies that are renting out.
Right.
People with a lot of those bigger breeds have to surrender them somewhere to a shelter or a nonprofit because they can't take them with them when they're moving. You know, you see a divorce, you know, one person doesn't want to take the dog or they're both going into rentals. Where are their 2 or 3 big dogs going? They have to, if they can't find them homes, they have to now take them to a rescue or a shelter. And, you know, it's unfortunate, but it happens, you know.
I wish they would go by like I don't like the uniform no. You know, because Buddy, you know, he was like he wasn't just like a pup running around. Like, he just wanted to lay in the sun. And
Yeah,
Go
but
for
any,
car rides
Yeah.
with strangers.
Like just
Yeah.
that, yeah.
I mean, any dog over 40 pounds
Maybe
is
cruise around.
questionable.
Yeah.
No matter what kind of breed they are.
Yeah.
Sad, but
Yeah.
True.
So, but the pit bulls are that need to get adopted the most and are the hardest to
Absolutely.
get off of also.
And again, though, people look at the bullies. People are breeding them nonstop, and you find so many backyard breeders and irresponsible breeders breeding, and will give them to people that will, yeah, people will pay 1,500 or 3,000 for this cute little puppy, or they look at the body shape of the bullies and they think it's such, a lot of young guys want them, and it's the look of them that they want. But then when it comes down to something comes up medically and they need to pay 2,000 for that vet bill, they're not doing it. They're not taking them for routine blood work and checkups and vaccines.
And the heartworm prevention.
It's like
So-
somebody buying a Benz with their tax return.
There you go. And all of a sudden you need tires. You're like,
And
oh,
I was like,
man.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. The sunroof's broke, $5,000.
Yeah, exactly.
And like for us, because we take in so many neglected and abused dogs, our vet care, like Shara touched on before, is enormous. The average dog that we take in coming from a neglect case or abuse or just not cared for and loved properly is we have heartworms that if they have heartworms, the treatment could be $1,500. They're not neutered or spayed. Add that in there. We don't know if they had vaccines because they were in woods somewhere or dumped, or the owners that had them that neglected them. I'll ask them, and they don't know when they last had them. So we have to vet them properly.
Right.
If they need dental, some of the dogs we get need dental work so bad that they can't even really chew hard food because they're in so much pain. So we will do the dental as well. That might cost us $1,000.
Yeah, I don't think anybody ever thinks of that.
No.
No.
Dog dentist, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Or any skin issues and matting, just from being neglected.
So by the time you look at, deworming them, vaccines, spay and neuter, and then if they have heartworm disease or they have skin infections where they have to go on all these meds and baths and different things to help get them to where they're even comfortable and adoptable. Some dogs, on the average, we're paying, if it includes heartworms, we're looking at about $3,000 to get this dog healthy and ready for an adoption. Will we do it? For every one of them, we would. But again, we have to rely on fosters to get through the treatment. If we had a place to keep these dogs, be much better. We can help more animals. But it's you can't turn your back on them. You can't euthanize them just because they have something medically that needs to be addressed. I'd rather get out here 5 days a week with a table and tent somewhere and fundraise and do what we have to do to fight for them.
I definitely agree with that.
So, like, when do you guys think that this would happen? Just
It's progressing, but the thing is, you keep finding all these other animals that need attention, so the funds do go to that. But the big fundraisers that we plan on, we're hoping to bring in some big funds, and hopefully work on getting some grants as well to be able to purchase either property and then build a facility and have a vet on hand and staff on hand.
Or even somebody with property that, they want to help and they're an avid animal lover. There's a lot of people in the area in Flagler County that have property just sitting, even the county and the city. There's property just sitting that can go to benefit the animals of Flagler County. The shelter can't house all of our animals that need care. So the ones that we take in, if we have the support of the county and the city that we do so much for the citizens here, it would be beneficial. I mean, I get probably 10 messages a day of people needing to surrender dogs. If we had a place to take them, we can help more, and I think once we get on board with getting the city and county involved or finding a person that has a property that they'd like to if they don't want to donate it for the tax write-off purposes, they can lease it back, lease it to us for little or nothing or to cover the taxes. A long-term lease, of course, because we wouldn't want to build up and put kennels on a property and then somebody tell us they're selling it.
Yeah.
So if we can find somebody committed to really helping us, or even the city or county has a property that they can, give to the nonprofit for the tax purposes or to lease back to us, it would help so many animals. It would.
That's awesome. So I don't know. Do you guys ever see like the numbers from other counties? I was wondering how Flagler County fared in comparison to maybe like Volusia. Like, say if Flagler was like a 7 or a 5, they're like a 7 or 8, or do we have like a code red serious problem in Flagler County?
I don't think Flagler County has anywhere near the issue that other counties do because they're bigger. When you look at Volusia, you look at, St. John's, Jacksonville, much bigger counties. You have a lot of areas like Palaca, Crescent City, that have a huge problem like the Mondex. But the Mondex is a smaller area versus a whole city like Crescent City or
Yeah.
Palaca, Daytona, Holly Hill, those areas down there. They have a lot of issues with dogs and cats and a lot of breeding, a lot of loose dogs, a lot of animals not being cared for. So I think Flagler County is on a better scale because we're a smaller county,
Yeah.
and we don't have so much of it like other counties do.
Okay.
But our county has picked up from what it was 10 or 15 years ago.
Definitely.
Yeah.
At least doubled.
Yeah.
if not tripled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
those areas are bigger, but I'm sure they have more resources too
Yes.
because
Right.
they're bigger.
Right.
So I mean,
Yeah.
proportionally, maybe.
And I just want to point out too that like you have the Humane Society, Flagler Humane Society that gets a lot of grants. When you have a facility versus not having one, it opens you up to a lot of grants that are only there if you have a shelter or an actual facility where you house the dogs. So that opens you up to more grants and funding if you have a facility. You have two rescues here, ourselves, and we have Community Cats, who we don't get funding from the city or county or big grants, to help with their. So we're relying on donations and fundraising events and donors to really help us to carry out our mission to help, with a lot of the dogs and cats that the two organizations help. Even with the city of Palm Coast, the city of Palm Coast is contracted with the city, with like the shelter, and they get money. Say Buddy gets loose from you, and I go take him to the shelter. The city of Palm Coast, which a lot of people don't know, they pay about $95 per dog.
That's because
that comes in.
the dog catcher lady, whenever she would pick them up, she would like call me because I think the Humane Society charges you $50 to get them back,
And they
but
charge the
Palm Coast
city.
got to pay
Yeah.
what, like we said, 95.
It's
or
about
whatever it is now.
95.
Yeah.
So the taxpayers are paying for every dog that comes in as a stray. The taxpayers are paying that in the city. But where I take in that dog, we're not, because we work very closely with animal control, City of Palm Coast Animal Control. We have a very good working relationship. If they call us to take a dog or get a dog fostered, we have no problem with it. If they get a dog surrendered that has a lot of medical needs that they think won't, or behavior needs that they don't think will do good in the Humane Society, they'll reach out to us and ask us if we can help. So we have a very good working relationship. The same with a lot of lost dogs and stuff. Animal control and I work together very closely to get that dog safe. We communicate daily with a lot of the dog stuff. So if we had a facility, we'd be able to hopefully contract with the shelter, with animal control, say City of Palm Coast, where we would then get funding based on the dogs we're taking in. Versus right now, we're taking them in and we're going to put out $1,500 for that dog, but we're not getting
Right.
anything back,
That makes
so
sense. It's hard to sustain that.
it's very hard,
Yes.
very hard.
So I kind of wanted to go back to the city council.
Oh God. Okay.
And I just wanted to, before we start to get to the end, I have questions in my head that I kind of want to make sure. So, do you have, well, I'm sure that you do. I would more ask, what is some of the main points that you think you're going to be leaning on? I'm sure there's going to be, some other publications that are going to like interview you guys as we get closer and stuff. What do you think are some of the main points that you're going to be leaning on?
Well, my first point is to be unpolitical.
Okay.
If that even makes any sense whatsoever in the political world.
Sounds like something we need.
Yeah, I think we're ready for change, not just nationally, but definitely locally. So I am running as an independent, and one of my platforms is to be unparty affiliated. I want to make change instead of being party. I don't even know.
Like toe the line.
Like partisan, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you are is what you vote for.
And that's such a thing now. That's, over the past couple of years, it's like really all people like blue no matter who or whatever.
Yes,
I don't
they're
even know
so
what the
either
other.
left or right. And I just want to be that middle ground where it's not just about party affiliation. It's about community and people and what's good for everybody as a whole rather than just be one-sided. I have been told by both parties that if I don't choose a party, I'm going, in their terms from both ends is I will get ran over like roadkill. And
Well, I think for funding purposes, I think like if you're a Democratic candidate or Republican candidate, they have.
yes, they have the groups.
Yeah.
But that's my whole point, is to not be sided and to get both parties to reunite, if that's even possible, and just to bring back humanity rather than party affiliation.
I honestly believe that there's enough independent or middle of the road people in Flagler County, because what was like the winning margin and stuff?
Low.
Yeah, I think
Low,
the
like
winning
for the
person had
mayor.
like 2,700 votes or something like
Yeah,
that.
it was
Oh, yeah.
for the mayor race. It
Yes.
was not that many votes that won it.
So that's another issue, I think, is that I've heard a lot from even national parties, both sides, is that they said they will not vote based on who's running. And I thought, is that where we've gotten to? It's just been crazy nationally as well, that it's just so one-sided on both sides that you're not going to vote. Well, that is a vote. You not voting,
Yeah.
because whoever that person that you don't want to win is most likely going to win if you don't vote for the other party.
Right.
As they say, the lesser of the two evils, even though we have two evils or however many evils, whatever you want to call them. I don't want to be quoted,
Right.
calling people evil, but that's the terms that they use. And we need to vote, and we need to get people, I think, that are willing to make a difference. And again, unparty affiliated.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the problem too. Is like if you're on one side, you trash the other side, and then trash
Right.
the other side. And it's
Right.
like it's not even about what you're talking about. It's about
Yeah, you're like, I just want to solve problems.
yeah. Instead of
Right.
talking about the problems, you're
Right.
talking about the people.
Like, how can we work together even a
Yeah.
little bit for the best of all, instead of just, well, this is what I believe and this is what I'm going with, and there's no stopping me and there's no talking me out of it. Now, I know I will not change people's party mind, and that's not my goal. My goal is to just touch on their brain a little bit and get them out of this tunnel vision. Just think for yourself and stop being so manipulated by what you hear and what may or may not be true, because unfortunately at this point, facts are no longer facts.
Yeah, I've been saying lately, like facts are whatever's heard the most. But
Okay.
the more
Yeah.
so
Whatever you believe is a
Right.
fact
whatever you
is
keep
the
hearing,
fact.
whatever you keep hearing the most of, that becomes the
Right.
truth.
And that is my other platform, is to educate the public. When I'll just bring up an example, the bridge to nowhere. That's over here on 100.
Yeah.
The rumors, and yeah, it does go somewhere, and it will connect to something, but some of the locals think that the tax money has been wasted.
Yeah, and that was like what, like $10 million, $12
It
million, something
was.
like that.
So what I have learned, and that's my whole point, is to educate the public,
Education.
is that was a grant that the city received. It wasn't even the city, it was the county that received a grant for that bridge. Now, they unfortunately took 4 years to build it, but there is a plan for that bridge. They talk about parks and recreation and, people being able to ride bikes and safely. Volusia County has agreed, and they agreed years ago, to connect that bridge. So you're going to be able to go from Flagler County to Volusia just within time. But that's the thing, is the bridge to nowhere, the rumor has just gone and ran with it. But that's my whole platform, unparty affiliated, and to educate the public.
Awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Definitely. So is there anything, I know we have a couple of events before we do round this up that we want to reach out to the people and let them know about. I know we were talking about the Loopers.
Yes, this Wednesday.
That's Wednesday.
Then we have Chez Jacqueline.
Chez Jacqueline. Yes. We have quite a
Wanna
few
make
events
sure I
coming
got
up.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, we have some other events that we wrote down, I believe. Okay, we spoke about the Lost and Found Pets Facebook page. So is there any other big supporters that you might like to shout out?
Oh, we have
We have our annual sponsors now. So Seagate Homes.
Awesome.
We have, of course, East Coast Animal Hospital. We have Coffee News, Texas Roadhouse, Red, White, and Blues in the European Village. I'm missing some.
We honestly, we get so many, even for event sponsors. When we have our yearly anniversary event, I want to say we had maybe 25 local businesses that sponsored. So amazing turnout. Like I said, we have a very pet friendly neighborhood in Flagler County. The businesses and the people are very supportive. So
That's
honestly,
awesome.
just thanking even the people. Every dog I post, it could be 5 a week. We have regular donors that don't have much, but they'll put $20 of a donation there for every dog that we post.
That's awesome.
And as minimal as it sounds,
That
it
sounds like
goes
a lot of
so
money.
far for us. It goes so far for us,
That's
you know.
awesome.
So we thank them as well. That's
Yeah, we can list
huge.
all the names. I mean, the people
Right.
that go out of their way to donate baskets
Mm-hmm.
and go out hunting from ours, the people that support us. They go out getting gift certificates from restaurants. We just
Yeah.
want to thank everybody.
And if there are any local businesses that want to join and help us with our mission, we always need business sponsors to, we'll promote their business. They help us. I mean, so it helps the animals. We can't save. If you look through my Facebook page and look through our website at the photos and videos of the dogs that we have saved, we can't do that without the support. So we're very grateful. Our fosters, we're very grateful for, because if we didn't have a place to take them, we wouldn't be able to save them. So Detective Annie Conrad with the Flagler Sheriff's Department is one of our main fosters and rehabbers. She helps with everything. She's a huge part of S.M.A.R.T. She volunteers. She's almost like pretty much a partner of mine with everything when it comes to the lost pets and rehabbing the dogs. Her and her husband, Mike, he's also a retired detective with Flagler Sheriff's Department, and they're huge. They take, I would say, the worst of our dogs and
wow.
rehab them. So very grateful to have people like that in our community that are
dedicated.
dedicated and such a
Definitely.
part of S.M.A.R.T. So yeah, we have a few upcoming fundraisers that we're working on right now. One of them being a poker run with a nice biker group locally, that the Punishers. So look out for that date to be posted soon. If there's anybody that is, looking to help with a fundraiser and plan one, that has an idea of fundraising or wants to plan a fundraiser for us, we're open to any help whatsoever from the community to help the animals.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and any landowners definitely too.
Any landowners?
Landowners.
Yes.
We have
Tax
also
benefits.
Yes.
volunteer opportunities. Are you guys looking for any volunteers, and what might they possibly do if people were watching this and they wanted to volunteer?
For the most part, the volunteers are helpful at the events that we do. We set up twice a month, like at the European Village Farmers Market on Sundays. So to come out and be, most times we bring out dogs, adoptable dogs or the puppies, tell people about the organization. We might do things, have T-shirts, tumblers, things there. So as people are coming around and looking to support the nonprofit, telling them what we do and helping, to raise some funds while we're there. And if we have puppies, help get them adopted or get even applications in. If we do like Yappy Hour, like we're having on Wednesday, having people to help with selling raffle tickets, collecting at the door. If we have a dog out for adoption or puppies, we need somebody to kind of make sure they're okay throughout. So volunteers are good for many things, to help with the animals, fundraising.
Let little Dave know too.
Yeah, I mean, we're
He's trying
going
to get bright future volunteer hours.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Yes.
We are looking to get a event committee together that's committed.
That's awesome. Let me ask you this about little Dave though. Let's say he was to like foster a dog. Let's say for a day. Would you get 24 hours community service hours?
We can't do that, only because of the fact that when we're taking in a dog, we're looking for more of the long term, a foster that's going to be, and in a scenario where we're getting a dog that's lost or found or
Gotcha.
dumped or abused, to bounce them around from place to place is not
Right.
healthy for them.
Got you.
And then you don't know what this dog needs, so they really need that decompression time.
Got you.
So
Understand.
yeah, but to come out to the events and for you to come out with them and have, time out there, at the events and helping out, that helps with getting the volunteer hours as well. If it's a teenager, we would have to have the parent out there with them.
See, that's the problem he keeps finding because they keep trying to volunteer, but like everybody's like, oh, well, you got to bring your dad too. So it's like
Yeah.
you're kind of getting a
So you have to
2 for
volunteer
1.
too.
Yes, double the hours.
The problem is it's a liability if something happens to them. It's a liability for an agency to take them in at
Yeah.
that age, to volunteer. Let's just say that we have a dog that is not good with kids for some reason, and we didn't know that, and we have him out, and now he bites him, or he gets loose from him from a leash while
Yeah.
we're there.
Right.
So
Would
it's a
Dave
little
would Dave have to volunteer too, or would he just have to be there?
Yeah, just be there. Yeah, just be there. I mean, 9 times out of 10,
Supervising.
9 times out of 10, he would volunteer as well, right?
Right.
Because he
Yeah.
would
Right.
see
I
these
mean, I'm not
puppies
going to
and-
stand there.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I'm not
Yeah.
volunteering, guys.
Because then he'd want to go home with another buddy, right?
I wish I had, buddy.
Oh,
That was very unfortunate for me. That was sad. Very sad.
Sorry, Dave.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about it after. But I want to see him.
Well, guys, I really appreciate you guys for
We
coming
appreciate
by
you too. Thank you
and
for this.
taking your time out of your day to come and speak about this. We appreciate you guys because like I said, we're dog lovers too, and Dave already knew about you guys a lot, and he spoke very highly about you guys. So, thank you very much for coming by. Dave, do you have anything?
Support S.M.A.R.T.
Support S.M.A.R.T.
Yeah.
Follow them, like, subscribe, donate, all that good stuff. Go on the page, look and see if there's a dog that you guys can pick up.
absolutely.
And share this.
Definitely share this. And
And our website for anybody that's looking to donate, to help, find out about whatever other fundraisers we might be having if they're not on Facebook and this is shared somewhere, whether or not it's not a Facebook user. Our website is smartflagler.com.
Do you guys have
Smart
Instagram also or no?
We are on Instagram and TikTok, but again, a lot of that is not always updated because most of it is just me
Okay.
updating everything.
and driving
I
around
run the
everywhere.
Lost Pet page, I run the Smart Facebook page, I run all the apps, and then my own social media page. In between catching all the loose dogs and going after dogs and vet appointments. It's a lot.
you definitely understand. Definitely understand the social media aspect. It's a lot. I was thinking about starting like a social media management company, but it's just
It's a lot more than people think.
You
Well,
know
you
what I
guys
mean?
know, but
Yeah.
the average
Yeah.
person, yeah.
definitely. And I feel like a lot of people don't kind of value it or understand the value of it. So that's the whole thing. It's like I don't know if I really feel like explaining it to everybody,
Right, right.
but
It's a whole
Well,
other
I'd be
job.
blessed to find somebody to run our social media because that
Definitely.
is a lot of work.
I definitely understand. So, maybe we might, talk about some stuff, but I appreciate you guys and thank you so much. And we're definitely going to share this out to everybody. And, we hope that your events are filled up and all the dogs get picked up. Thank you, everybody, for checking us out, episode 39. And we will see you again on episode 40. Have a good day.
Bye.
Thank you.